that everyone wants to be. We all have strengths, we all have weaknesses. Some people are great at write-ups, some people are great at bulletin boards, but that doesn't mean that you can't try to do your best in everything. Sometimes your best might not be the best out of the group, but it still is your best, and people see that. So just keep that in mind when you're finishing out this year, because it's really easy to go, oh, we only have a month left. All right, I'd rather do this than that. But you still have the same responsibilities that you have now till the end of the day. And that's something that you guys have to keep reminding yourself. And when you don't want to do it, you have to think to yourself, well, who else is going to do it then? And that's another point. It's like, if I don't do my job, Greg and Shane and Juliet, they might, pick up my slack a little bit, but in the end, it's going to show that I'm not doing my job. And I don't want to have to hold them responsible to pick up my slack. I then need to, get a reality check and go, I need to get my stuff together and start doing my work. And that's something that us building right now is such a key component, because I want to be able to trust you guys. I want to be able to rely on you. If I'm having the worst day ever and I'm on duty, and I want to be able to call every one of you and know that you guys have my back. Whether it's, hey, can you make this key? Or, hey, can you hold the phone for tonight? I can't hold it tonight. I want to be able to build that trust with you guys. And by building that trust, it's by showing, I'm hoping to build your guys' trust. I'm hoping that I'm doing my job and doing my work so that you guys can see that I am reliable. I am accountable to my own self. And so that's something that you should have a mindset with in the RA position too. It's not just in the RD position.
And I haven't needed to bring any one of them in to reprimand them this year. Not at all. We've had some educational talks, but I've not once had to sit them down and say, you're not doing what you are here to do, what you need to do. Because they understand it, they fully do it. And just like they're saying, I'm not here permanently. I work hard in my job, because if I don't continue to grow and I don't continue to work hard, then they would replace me too. Which is why, all those changes that have gone through the past 3 months that we're constantly changing you, I'll take credit for those. That I'm putting your life through a little hell of changing, but that's because I'm finding ways to make it better. And there's going to be lots of changes every single year. But that's because that's showing that as an organization, we are growing to get better. And we are constantly pushing. We have the luxury of saying, this doesn't work, how can we change it now? Unlike over at UCSB, they may have to wait till the next year to make those changes. And they have to be passed by this huge board. No, we make that decision, we can change it now. We can make a difference now, okay?
Yeah, and through those changes, I might not 100% agree with some of the changes. Even today I had a conversation with Ann about transportation, and I still don't understand some of the processes that they are doing. But that doesn't mean that I am gonna hold a grudge or a cold shoulder because they're not listening to me, or I feel like they're not listening to me. Because a lot of it is, you have to keep it professional, and it's really hard with this job to keep everything professional. But there can be times that we go into a family meeting and I'm pissed off at Shane. He just really annoyed me that day. He did something shady. But
you're not shady.
Never happened. Never has happened. No, kidding, Jacob. But there can be a time where I'm annoyed at Greg or Shane, and I'm going into a meeting. I can't show that. I can't be hand in the face, I don't want to talk to you. I have to interact with them. I have to be professional. And that's another thing, this job, when you step into an RD position, you have this more I might not be the best person to say this, but you have this like more maturity about you, where you're in a more professional scenarios and situations that you have to uphold, or you're gonna be like sticking out like a sore thumb.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. And speaking from probably all of pro staff, we'll say things, and if we're like, this isn't done, we need it done now, that's the end of it. We're over it. We don't dwell on it unless it happens again, then it becomes an issue. But we say something once, we're done. And you have to be done too. You have to take it as, okay, good, I got it, and do it. Now, if it doesn't get done and it happens again, that's your choice, and we won't agree with that choice, and then that's going to be discussion that we don't have time to waste on.
Do you guys have any, like, because this is a discussion,
Yeah.
we'd like you guys.
I mean, it just seems really broad to me.
Yeah.
I mean, really, like, one of the greatest facets of improving would be kind of seeing personal things. So I know just for me personally, like, probably the same as Anna, I feel like we have the same type of thing where, like, I actually want things, like, specifically pointed out, like, improve at this. And I don't know. Like, I don't care if they hear it, like, honestly, I'd rather just have it that way.
Okay.
That's fine.
I think, McKinley, with you, one thing I brought up was I really liked today, or not today, this weekend, we were talking and you said you had to do your paper. And I asked you when it was due and you said Wednesday. And I said, oh, you have time. You're like, but everything's due Wednesday.
Right.
That's a good thing. That's, in my head, I'm like, yay, because that shows that you're thinking ahead. You're knowing that you have responsibilities and you have deadlines that you have to make, and you're planning ahead. That's a good thing. So that's an example. That's a good example.
Of what we're looking for.
We're not going off specific examples, so it's hard, like, to think up specific examples. But I think we're kind of seeing there may be the possibility, or there has been some diminished quality in whatever, and we want to make sure that doesn't continue to happen. So, I mean, I'm sure we could probably figure something out, but.
I said to these three earlier, I always tell my athletes, if someone comes up to a game or to a practice, and let's say Shane comes to my practice, he has no clue who my captains are, and I say, Shane, pick out my 3 captains. He should be able to pick out who my 3 captains are without a doubt. And right now, that's not happening. If we had a lineup of all of our RAs and we had someone observing, we say, okay, we just hired 3 new RDs out of these RAs. Who would they be? So we're not seeing that stepping above, that shining through that we're looking for.
I know something like, this isn't one example, but like, so the study lounge bulletin boards are my staff task, and like from the beginning I haven't appreciated the fact that like I have to do 4 of those when someone just has to do like a Tropster of the month, but like whatever, that's not my point really. But for the last say like few months, Emery's been putting like sad faces on the like RA calendar for them, and so like I haven't been getting credit, and honestly like I don't care, but I'm not gonna like challenge it because no one said anything to me like about them. I just see the sad faces or like a black mark, so I'm like, oh well. But it's hard when you see someone like Sean's bulletin board, which is like every day his residents are walking past it. It looks like a 5-year-old did it. No, a 5-year-old could do a better job than that. Like it looks terrible. It's embarrassing. And we give tours that go past that specific bulletin board every time if you're going the right way. So yeah, it's comparing, but like that's what humans do. We compare ourselves all the time. But how, like, if I feel like I'm doing my bulletin boards and not really receiving credit, and then Sean's doing his and receiving credit, like what's going to motivate me to go further, you know? I'm just like, okay, because I've already said stuff about it and nothing's changed. So that for me, that's like, okay, because it's not a big deal to me, honestly, But I don't know, that's like you text me the other day, like, make sure that it's done by this time. With stuff like that, which it's just kind of.
Communication is key.
It is key. But another thing is, you can't hold everybody's hand in this
Yeah.
job. And I think that's when you have to hold yourself accountable. And there are times where I don't have the big bulletin board gets torn down. They expect me to fix it the next day. And they have had a talk with me about it. And I now make it a point that they will never have to talk to me about it again. Because that was a wake-up call for me to like, you know what? They like, just because I don't feel like that should be my responsibility, it's not my fault that residents tear that down all the time. But because I took that on as my staff task, I then need to hold myself accountable and hold the responsibility that it has. And for example, you're getting sad faces. That should be in itself a communication to you that you need to do your job. And we can't, and it's hard for me to like say this in words, but if I was to sit down with every RA and tell them what they're doing good and what they're doing bad, I wouldn't have time to do my job.
Yeah.
Which is hearings and roommate conflicts and that type of thing. And that's why, as an RA, you have a job description. If you're working at a restaurant, your boss, your manager, is not going to sit with you and walk with you at every table. He's going to expect you to do your job. And if you're not doing your job, yeah, he might sit down with you. But he also might, like, you also have to hold yourself accountable to the things that you signed up for, that you know
But
is your
in
job.
like this, in this case, I am doing it. Like I don't know if she checks like whether they changed or not, but so I'm beyond the